Hello everyone, this is Kallia Milillo and this will be my APE and ILE showcase. To start off, for my practicum, my placement site was at the University of Illinois Extension, and my focus was on infant and toddler feeding practices and nutrition for both parents and caregivers. Illinois Extension has a website called Feeding My Baby to help inform parents and caregivers about feeding practices and nutrition for their children from cradle to table. My deliverables consisted of a Wellness Wake Up Call podcast episode, a magnet and survey development, social media posts, food allergy substitutions pages, and a packaged lesson plan including a PowerPoint presentation and activity cards. My podcast episode was about dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke in babies and young children, targeted towards caregivers since they are the majority of listeners. The magnet I developed was called Infant Feeding Tips, which included feeding tips on what to exclusively feed, what foods to introduce, textures of foods, and foods to avoid from birth to 1 year old. It is pictured on the slide at the top left. Also, a survey was developed with my site supervisor to collect data on Feeding My Baby website users, in which the magnet will be offered in exchange for filling out the survey. Furthermore, I created an entire year of social media posts, which included creating monthly health themes, designing graphics, and writing content. The posts directed people to the Feeding My Baby website via links to help guide them to helpful information related to each health topic. One of my many social media graphics is pictured on the slide at the bottom left. A previous document owned and made by Illinois Extension had information on food allergy replacement. This document was redesigned and updated to create the food allergy substitutions pages. One page was for replacement of common food allergens, while the other page was allergy-friendly meal and snack replacements. The first page is pictured on the slide at the top right. Lastly, I created a packaged lesson plans for leaders at Illinois Extension to use to do outreach in the community regarding food allergies in children. There was an educational presentation designed with information about food allergies, signs and symptoms, anaphylaxis, common food allergens, and food substitutions for common food allergens. An activity was also designed to make the seminar interactive and memorable. The activity cards are designed to use with food labels where participants identify common food allergens on the labels and then offer a replacement food from the activity cards provided. For my ILE, I conducted a systematic review, comparing misoprostol and oxytocin for inducing labor. The outcomes that I used to compare the two drugs included vaginal births versus cesarean sections. Inclusion and exclusion criteria are included on this slide. The main database I utilized was PubMed. However, studies where I was not able to locate the full text, I used St. Ambrose Library Central Database and then Interlibrary Loan. In total, 5 studies were included in my review. A meta-analysis was conducted for my systematic review, which I have included both forest plots on this slide to the right. The top one is for vaginal birth outcomes and the bottom one is for cesarean section outcomes. Overall, the pooled data from the meta-analysis showed no statistically significant difference between misoprostol and oxytocin for either vaginal births or cesarean sections. However, when looking at some of the studies individually, there were 3 studies which showed associations and risk ratios for cesarean section when comparing the utilization of misoprostol and oxytocin. One study showed an increased risk ratio where oxytocin could be a risk factor for cesarean section, with a risk ratio of 2.76, but there were only 4 participants which had the result of a cesarean section, and with a low number being under 5, this could result in an unstable estimate, which means the relationship of association could not be correct. 2 other studies showed misoprostol as being protective against cesarean section, with a risk ratio of 0.53 and 0.48. This could mean that for these 2 studies, misoprostol made the risk for cesarean section half as likely. There are also additional benefits to using misoprostol, such as it is cost-effective, easier to store, less invasive to administer, and does not limit women's movement during birth. My biggest takeaway from my MPH program is that repetition and determination can help develop skills which can have lasting impacts on the health of the people in the communities we serve as public health professionals. Going forward, I will be job searching for MPH jobs and have been considering getting certified as a lactation consultant. I'm also going to continue my work on my systematic review for publication. Thank you all to St. Ambrose MPH staff and professors who have guided me during my MPH coursework. It has been such an amazing opportunity and I've learned so much. I'm forever grateful to have been a part of St. Ambrose MPH program.